Prowse, a good win for the under-21s and good for you to stretch your legs after what was probably a frustrating weekend, really.
Yeah, it was. It was nice, obviously, to get 90 minutes. And obviously, when the manager and Martin spoke to me about playing tonight, it was a good opportunity for me to obviously maintain a little bit of rhythm. And yeah, it was a frustrating weekend, because obviously I want to help the team. And yeah, it was a disappointing result for us.
Suspension, a relatively new experience for you, I guess.
Yeah, it was. It's obviously the first time it's happened in my career. It's a bit of a debatable one, but I'm not going to get into that now. But yeah, just one of those things, and hopefully it won't happen very, very much in my career.
How horrible was that, having to sit at home knowing that you're fit, you're fully fit, you could be playing, but you couldn't play a part at Leicester this weekend?
Yeah, it's very horrible. It reminded me of the time I was injured. Obviously when I couldn't contribute, but yeah, tonight was good to get out and obviously keep the fitness up, keep my match sharpness up, and I felt good.
When you had the opportunity maybe to play in an under-21 game on the Monday night, were you one probably to stick your hand up and put yourself forward for it?
Yeah, I think if I'm not selected or suspension or whatever, I think it's a good thing to play in. Fitness-wise, it's great, and obviously sharpness is great. And obviously, when the manager calls on me, hopefully Saturday, then obviously I'll be ready and match ready, which is important.
I guess it's just important really to keep yourself ticking over, isn't it? At this stage of the season, you want that rhythm really in terms of matches every weekend if possible.
Yeah, that's what the manager said to me. To keep that sort of rhythm up, and obviously in the bigger picture, I've got the under-21 Euros coming up, which is obviously a massive tournament for us. And it's good to keep the fitness levels up and keep getting the 90 minutes because it's going to be a tough schedule when we're out there.
As you say, yeah, a busy year really, a busy summer coming up. I guess maybe a little bit of you is probably thankful for a weekend's rest, but you probably won't want to really admit that, will you?
No, it's not. Obviously it's a tough couple of games we've got up, and we've still got a chance of creating history and getting into the Europa League. And obviously I want to make sure that I'm at the best peak of my physical and technical ability to make sure I can contribute to get us there.
Jose, the captain, spoke after the defeat at the weekend. He said it's been a bit of a painful time really for the squad. I guess as a group you're quite hurting really at the last couple of results. Yeah,
it has definitely. You can't quite put your finger on it. Maybe it's just towards the end of the season. It's been a very long, mentally draining season as well. We've been up in the top of the league for a very long time, but this is what you have to be the best. You have to be able to cope with that, and we're finding that out right at the minute.
How much of a test of character is that?
Yeah, it's massive. Like I said, we want to be around the top of the league and winning trophies and winning titles and stuff like that. And we've got to make sure that if we want to be there, we have to be able to cope with being up there and coping with the pressure. And that's what comes with being successful.
How big an opportunity are these last two games? Starting with a home game against Aston Villa this weekend, the last one at St Mary's of the season, and then a week after that away at Manchester City. Yeah,
they're massive. We got doubted at the start of the season, obviously after the summer that went on, and we came in and we were determined to prove people wrong, and we've done that. And we're determined not to let that slip away and make sure that we make what's been a good season into a terrific, memorable season. And that's the aim of all the players, and we are doing everything that we can to make sure we get there.
As you said, that proving people wrong has kind of run throughout the season, hasn't it? Is this another time when you've kind of got to do that? Because a lot of people now are saying that Southampton are on the beach, Southampton are finished for the season. It's a good opportunity to kind of fire one last shot at some of those doubters.
Yeah, it is, and it's been a testing time for the club, and not only for us as players, but the fans, the staff. There's been a lot of bad talk about the club, where it would go up or down, and we've proved to people that we can stay at the top, and it'd be a great way to end the season by turning around to those people and saying we've proved them wrong.
Regardless of how results are going at the moment, how important is it that people do have a sort of bigger picture really and see the wider perspective in terms of how this season's been and how positive it's been for everybody involved?
Yeah, I think it is important. I think like I said, people at the start of the season didn't expect us to be where we are, and people have to remember that we started like a fresh squad really, of players coming in, and a new manager and a new staff, and we've maintained and beaten what we did last year. And I think again that's a great sign of progression that we've made over the last few years. And like I said, we're determined to make sure these last two games we give it our all to make sure that we make it into a memorable season.
Early thoughts ahead of Aston Villa this weekend? I guess in some ways quite similar to the last two opponents in Sunderland and Leicester, that they're still scrapping away for their lives. So you're going to expect a tough game, I assume.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough. They're fighting for their lives, and I think Sherwood's rejuvenated them, and it's going to be a very, very tough game. They're going to be in our faces, and we will expect that. I think it's going to be a great occasion, the last game of the season at home for us, and I'm sure if the crowd get behind us, that we can really roar on and get the 3 points.
How big a thing is that, the last home game of any season? I guess really it's a good opportunity for you as the players to kind of go off to the summer and leave the home fans with a good impression. Yeah,
definitely. I think the manager stressed that as well. It's the fans have stuck through us through very, very tough times over the recent months, and we've shared great times together, and they've travelled up in great support up and down the country, and it'd be a great way to obviously have a send off, if you like, to give them a good performance and 3 points and celebrate.